Okay, we're starting. Welcome to the weekly Ein Yaakov class. Today is Thursday, the second of the month of Sivan. We are getting ready for the holiday of the Shavuos, the holiday of Matan Torah, and we are learning tractate of Shabbos. We're on page 33, approximately, and we are going to be discussing today, as a continuation for the past 2 weeks, various punishments that come for various different sins. And we spoke last week about different hungers and different type of what was the word? Calamities that transpire from different sins.
Already we're learning bad words.
So we are now in English. It starts with the words "Ba'avoin nivles hapeh," the sin of lashvis. How do you say that word?
Lashes?
I don't know. Can I use the word foul, or is that not the right word? Foul language? Foul speech?
Foul language.
Is that the right word? Is that okay? Here it says lascivious.
Yeah, it's like acting out.
Okay. So from the sin, as a punishment for nivel peh means someone speaking foul language. In the context of the Gemara, foul language means speech which is inappropriate, speech which is not necessary, bad words, bad topics, inappropriate. Even if it's true, even if it's obvious, there's certain things that are not meant to be spoken. I think the best word to understand what we're talking about today is dirty language, because that's really what nivel peh is, dirty language. Okay, so something is considered a dirty word. If you wouldn't say it, I mean, these days in America, you could say even the president uses nivel peh.
I would say Trump is more like diarrhea of the mouth.
Right. So can't bring an example. We can't use an example from our presidents, but dignified people in a proper dignified, a rabbi, a respected person, respected professor, or an honored person, maybe a judge, someone that's refined, someone's able, a word that he wouldn't use because it's not appropriate. And including in this, by the way, is even words and topics which are true topics, important topics. It's important to use clean language when speaking about certain things. Not to use what we call in Yiddish Gassprach. Gassprach means the language of the street. It's called street language.
Schwarz is also called that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And
well, they don't call the nivel peh street like
so
that.
they have this, I don't think
the language of the streets.
Yeah.
Language of the streets.
Yeah,
right?
modern.
For example, bro or dude or all those words.
Also really?
So it's not appropriate talk.
Like I feel like everyone uses that nowadays. Like I've even heard rabbis say, well, not as much.
No, you're not going to hear a rabbi using such words.
I guess my rabbi in school doesn't count.
No, you gotta call them by the proper name, black hatters.
So it says over here, "Ba'avoin nivlas peh," from the sin of nivel peh, tzares, rabbis, lots of tzares, ugzeris kashis, and severe decrees, mischaches are a nude, which means not just you have the regular type of tzaris and the regular type of gzeris that we've heard many times, new ones come. It's actually Hashem kind of makes new types of tzaris. I actually saw a commentary that says a reason why everything Hashem does is midah keneged midah. When God does something, it's measure for measure. Something interesting that we find by nivel peh, speaking foul language, you don't find by almost any other sin. Most sins, if you think about it, either it's to anger someone or something, or it's to cause pleasure for the person that is doing it. Think about any sin. Give me a sin.
Stealing.
You have a gain. You want to get something. What's another? Give me a sin. You want to get angry, take revenge on someone. So most
You need to
sins,
prove your manhood by
so most sins are either against somebody or something, or in order to gain something. Nivul peh is a completely new thing. It's not meaning new as in you're not satisfying any pleasure when you speak that way. You're not going to be, oh, now
So it's even worse.
I feel so good now. I just let out my dirtiest language that I have. It's not accomplishing any benefit. So in a way, it's much worse than other sins. There's actually no benefit for it. You're dirtying your mouth with no benefit. So the type of punishment that comes is also going to be types of tsaris that would not a direct, that's not considered direct. Like certain tsaris, it's a direct cause. Some tsaris are just like weird and random. Why is this happening to me? Why am I going to this? And that's the punishment for this foul language. So the Gemara goes on and says, "Ubachure, the young men of Soine Yisrael, Mason, the young Jewish people are going to die." It actually says Soine Yisrael, the enemies of the Jewish people, but the Gemara uses that word, Soine Yisrael, when we're talking about regular Jewish people. Soine Yisrael is.
Hey, Rabbi, sorry, I forgot to call you today.
Can I get you some water?
Are you thinking about this?
Yeah.
Sit down and listen to the shit. That's what you can do.
So that's actually interesting that we use the word Soine Yisrael over here. Soine Yisrael literally means the enemies of the Jewish people. The Gemara often, when we're speaking, especially when we're talking about something negative, like a bad thing happening, a bad punishment happening. For example, here it says they will die. So instead of saying that the young Jewish people will die, so we say the enemies of the Jewish people will die. But we're actually referring to young Jewish children are going to pass away. God forbid. And this is the topic that we're talking about today, of having clean language.
You're saying young children die.
It's true. That's why the Gemara says, "Soine Yisrael, enemies of the Jewish people." I'm just clarifying that you should know what we're talking about.
And what happens if we are extra machmir to use clean language? Are our children going to live longer or something? Or
Possibly.
also,
Yisayim v'almanis, the orphans and widows, tzayakim are going to cry out for salvation. Ve'enim nanim, and Hashem will not answer them. Again, God forbid.
Wow.
These are terrible things. The Maral asks, what is so bad about nivul peh? Eliezer, you here? What is so bad about profaning the mouth? Like, why is that worse? Such horrible things, punishments for somebody that speaks foul language.
Poison, it spreads. It doesn't just affect the people that are talking about it. Affects the people next to them and people next to them, and the spread.
Okay, possibly. The way the Maral explains it is as follows: what makes a man better than other creatures in the world, other creations in the world?
The fact that he could be as low as a pig or as high as an angel, and he chooses to overcome it.
Well, what benefit does a man have over animal? Speaking.
Oh, man eats the animal.
Right.
Animals do not eat the man.
It's true. But what benefit do we have? We have daimim is inanimate. You have tzemeach. You have the things that grow, and then you have what?
I think.
Then you have chai, which is all living animals. Then you have, what's the top one?
Dovber.
Midaber. Top one is called midaber because why he could speak. So dibur is what makes us better than other. Signals, not signals. What
signs?
What makes us special? Makes us unique. So when we abuse that dibur, when we abuse the speech that we have to speak that dirty language, so we're taking this special benefit that God gave us over animals and lowering ourselves. And like just to add in what the Maral says, that the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya, that a person, when he needs to lower his ego, he sometimes could think about how he is not just lowering himself to an animal. He's actually much worse than an animal. Why? Because an animal can speak. So when an animal acts like an animal, he's acting the way Hashem programmed him to be an animal. Right? You ever see an animal, you say, "Oh, you're such a behemoth." You're such an animal. But that's what he is supposed to be. Like in class, sometimes I say, "You're so childish." And the kid says, I am. I'm a child. So animals are programmed to act like animals. Animals are programmed to act like animals. We have benefits over the animals. When we act like an animal, we're not just lowering ourselves to their level, we're actually worse than them. Because we're not utilizing what we're able to utilize. And that's why such terrible punishments happen from dirty language, is because we are supposed to use this language in order to be better. And instead we are dirtying it. We bring the verse, where do we learn this from? Shenemar, Al Kain, Al Bachurov La Yismach Hashem. Hashem will not be happy on the young ones. He will not have mercy on the orphans and on the widows. Why? They're all hypocrites and wicked. And their mouth are speaking novel. This is where the word nivel peh comes from, this pasuk. It's not a made-up thing that the rabbis made up the name. It comes from the pasuk in Yeshaya. B'chol peh doiver nevala. The mouths are speaking nivel. Nivel means like disgusted. His hand is still stretched out. He could even continue to be worse. The Gemara asks, what is implied by saying that his hand is still outstretched? Amar Rab Chanan bar Rava. Rab Chanan said, the son of Rava said, Hakol Yoidin. This gives us an example of what nivel peh is. Hakol Yoidin, everyone knows, Kala lama nichnas l'chuppah. Everyone knows that when you're getting married, so when they're going to go home, that's not a story.
Oh, no? Because I remember when.
Everyone knows that when you buy a chuppah and you see a chasna kala, so you know that they're going to go home and they're going to be together, right? Everyone knows that.
So saying
talking about it and saying what they're going to do.
Rule of 70-year good marriage.
Yes. 70 years.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Oh, I thought you said it's not a story. Yeah.
No, I meant whatever it is.
If somebody is going to talk about it and decide, you know what they're going to do? They're going to go home and then that's called nivel peh. You're profaning your mouth, your language.
Predicting the future?
No, you say what they're going to do when they're going to live together and how their husband and wife and they're going to have relations.
It's like predicting the future.
It's not just predicting the future. It's also the topic of.
You're not supposed to.
It's not appropriate.
I have the perfect answer for that. Look, if you're going to predict the future, give me some winning lottery numbers.
Okay. The sin over here is not the predicting the future. The sin is the topic of what you're talking about. So he says as follows.
How do you escape nivel peh? I mean, I know like iron heart.
Manavelis piv. Anyone that's going to have nivel peh is going to speak profane. Could be they have already decreed on him 70 good years. With that speech, he's able to transform it over to be bad. God forbid. This shows you how serious this is. This is a very serious thing. Speaking bad language is very, very serious. It could 70. Just by the way, on the flip side, since we're already talking about 70 years of evil, bad things, we could just, it's good to point out, it says in Shulchan Aruch that if someone's going to say, Amin Heshmi Rabba, with Kavana and all his kayach,
which I can't because they say too fast.
So then, it says over there the opposite. Even if he has 70 years worth of bad decrees, he'll be able to rip it up and make it good. So that's the flip side. If you say Amin Heshmi Rabba, that does not mean that you should speak nivel peh and then go say Amin Heshmi Rabba.
Wasn't there a chassid who they said got fat from saying Amin Heshmi Rabba?
A Rebbe, Menachem Chernobyl.
Oh yeah,
so he was a Rebbe, student of the Maggid. Okay, let's move on. One more thing about nivel peh. Amar Rabbi Bar Shila, Amar Rav Chisda. Rabbi the son of Shila says in the name of Rav Chisda, call manavel speech. Whoever is going to profane his speech is going to speak dirty language. Ma'amikin loy gehenim. We make gehenim for him deeper. Like it says, Shulcha Muka Pizaris. What is this idea of making Gehenim deeper? So I looked at the different commentaries, the different explanations. What does it mean, making Gehenim deeper? So one explanation is, simple one, is that the deeper you are in Gehenim, the hotter it is. So the punishment of Gehenim is stronger the deeper you are.
Like the sun.
Right, but that can be said for here. Like the deeper you dig into the earth, the hotter it gets.
Yeah.
Also the sun, the hottest part of the sun is in the center.
Another commentary that I saw, a very, very, very interesting one, was Hashem, from time to time, sends tzaddikim to the opening of opening of Gehenna, and they're able to go fishing. They're able to.
Like Rav Nachman of Breslov?
It's a real thing, and they're able to sometimes save souls. So the higher you up, the more chances you have in getting saved. And but even those that are destined to stay there for a long time, and they're not salvageable, salvageable, they're still there. There's still it helps when the tzaddik goes by. Why? So the mashal is this brings a mashal. A mashal. Imagine somebody is in a place where the sun is shining at him, and he's baking hot, and he can't move. He's stuck where he is, and it's the sun baking on him is just painful. And all of a sudden, somebody comes and walks by. For those few seconds that the guy's walking by, he's blocking the sun. He's like, ah. But the same thing that tzaddikim, even those Rishayim that he can't pull them out. When the tzaddik, being such a strong, positive energy, when he stands next to Gehenna, it blocks the heat of the Gehenna for the people inside, and they get a few moments of relief. But if somebody's too deep inside Gehenna, someone's deep inside, then it won't help the tzaddik standing by. So therefore, it's not good to be too deep in Gehenna. Okay. Rabbi Nachman Yitzchak says, "Af shemea v'shoisek." Not just the one that's speaking the dirty language gets these punishments. Even someone standing over there, someone's listening, and he doesn't protest, and he just listens.
Oh yeah, wow.
Even he gets carried on with these punishments.
You know what's interesting?
And like it says, Ze'um Hashem Yipol Sham. Even the Ze'um Hashem, someone that didn't protest for Hashem's honor, Yipol Sham, he also falls into the pit of Gehenna.
So I have a shayla. In my class, they say Odd Neville Path, and I tried protesting it at first, but they just make fun of me for it. I think they're like, "Oh, you stupid, you whatever." And like, what am I supposed to do? Just leave the room?
Yesterday I was in a class, and I heard that you have to protest. So I'm protesting. Say it with a matter of fact. Don't say it cynically and don't say it laughingly, because that's not. Just say as a matter of fact.
I thought, but they're still not going to listen to me. What should I do? Leave the room?
Yeah.
Even during class? Like,
no.
So it's like some teachers curse with them. I'm just saying. I don't know what to do.
So go speak to your best friend. Your Sheshiva.
Rosh Hashiva is going to start manipulating me and mocking me. Oh, you think you're better than the teacher?
Okay. Rabbi Shaya says, anyone that's going to push everything away on the side in order to set aside time for sin, which is supposed to be the opposite. You're supposed to put away all your business and all your things in order to serve Hashem, to learn Torah. But if someone's going to do it with an intention in order to sin, and by the way, it never says in Gemara plain sin, talking about relation, inappropriate behavior, or things like that. So whoever's going to do that, he's going to have on his skin different cuts and wounds. Like it says in the verse, he's also going to get the punishment called hidroikon. It says, what's the punishment of it? Hidroikon, what's the sickness? It's a sickness of swelling of the insides. Different parts of your body swell. You want to know if somebody is involved in inappropriate relationships and inappropriate behavior, he gets this sickness of hidroikon, and then you know he has it. If you see his skin is swelling, well, it's identified. We're going to see some stories about it. Come on, turn Rabbana.
I've seen it in real life.
Yeah. So our rabbis have taught Shloisha mini hidroikon. There's 3 types of hidroikon. Shalavera ove. The one that has, if it's coming from inappropriate behavior of relationships, so the skin becomes thick. It gets very thick skin. The shorav, sometimes this hidroikon sickness could come because of hunger. So then that's siman, that sign is tapuach, which means, doesn't mean over here apple. Tapuach over here means swelling, that there's going to be like a cavity, a space between the veins and the skin. and it sometimes fills up with a liquid, and his skin is going to be it looks like bubbles. So that type of hedrekin comes from hunger. V'shel kshafim, sometimes a person could get from kisha, from witchcraft. He could get the sickness, so then his skin will be very thin and frail. Now the Gemara says different rabbis that have gotten the sickness. Shmuel HaKatan Chashbei. Shmuel HaKatan got the sickness, and he prayed to Hashem. He said, Rebbeinu Shalom, Master of the universe, me Mephis, who's going to know the real truth of why I got this sickness? Some people might think that I got this sickness because I had inappropriate relationships and not good behavior, and it's going to be a chilul Hashem. When he finished praying, itzi. It went away.
Itzy spider.
Itzy. He got healthy.
So what did he get it for?
Well, you see, prayer helps.
Okay.
Abaya Chashbe. Abaya, the famous Abaya, also got it. Amar Rava says, Yodaina Bebe Nachmeni. I know Nachmeni was Abaya's name. Isn't called Nachmeni. Some people say his real name was Abaya, and they called him Nachmeni. Some people say his real name was Nachmeni, and they called him Abaya.
Isn't Abaya like father?
So Nachmeni actually means Abaya means father. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, why would his name be father?
Because his Abaya was an orphan. Both of his parents passed away when he was young, and he was raised by his uncle, which was the famous Rabbi. In Gemara, you have the name Rabbi.
Yeah.
So the Rabbi's father's name was Nachmeni. So some people say that Abaya was living in his father's house, so his Rabbi gave him a nickname, Nachmeni. His real name was Abaya. Some people say his real name was Nachmeni. And Rabbi, his uncle, didn't want to call him Nachmeni because that was his own father's name. So he gave him a nickname. The nickname that he gave him was Abaya, which means father. Okay, so Abaya got the sickness of a drakon, and Rabbi says, two versions, I know about Nachmeni, the machvin nafshe, that he fasts a lot. So his sickness that he got comes from hunger, because I know that he lets himself be hungry a lot. Rava himself got this sickness. So Gemara says, what? Rava got this sickness. Rava just told Abaya that he got it because of hunger. That means he knows about the fact that hunger brings sin. So Rava should have been careful. And even more so, Rava said somewhere else, Nefishi kitili kedar, minefichi b'kafim. Rava said once that the people that hold back the pots, they get more sicknesses than any other sickness. What does it mean, holds back the pots? So pot is in a clean language. We spoke about today about having clean language. So a pot is a clean language for a person's bowel system. Holding back the pots, which means holding back oneself from using the bathroom, brings to most sicknesses.
Because you're holding back your muscles.
It's dangerous. So, and that brings to this sickness of Hadrekin that we're talking about. So the Gemara, so how did Rava get sick? Rava knows all these health things.
Plus it's a halacha, you can.
Right. So Rava knows all these health things. So how does Rava get sick with something of a health related thing? So the Gemara says, Shani Rava is different. The answer Rava used to give long lectures, and all the students were there listening and asking questions, and he wasn't able to go to the bathroom. So he had no choice. He had to hold himself back, and therefore he got sick.
Going to go for 2 minutes?
Well, maybe it take longer. The commentaries discuss, is that permissible? Are you allowed to do that? And some commentaries say that since it's a covered debris to get up in front of everybody, it's inappropriate or whatever, so then you're allowed to. Some people say it wasn't there's different levels of how holding yourself back is from what point. So, anyways. Our sages have learned. There's 4 signs. Simun Lavera, a sign if you want to know if someone is involved with inappropriate things. Hidroikon, that's what we said before. He gets that swelling disease. Simun Lasinas Chinam, a sign for senseless hate. Yerokain. Yurakin is another type of sickness. I think the body turns like a greenish color. If that, it's also brought down other places that is not a punishment. That is a result of someone that holds back his urine while he's urinating. Try to pull back when you urinate to stop yourself in the middle. That also could bring to the sickness. Well, it happens a lot of times if you're about to have an accident and you don't want to hold yourself back. You don't want to have an accident.
I think you meant like the middle.
Well, somebody's having an accident and he feels like it's coming out and he doesn't want to have an accident all the way. So he holds himself back. That's very dangerous. Siman legas ruach, someone that has arrogance, so he could become poor. The commentaries say that poor over here is a reference not just to money, more in knowledge. And siman lashon hara, someone that speaks lashon hara, askara. He gets the punishment called askara. What's askara? Askara is a punishment where a person it develops in the person's inside, and it travels up to his lungs, and it causes a swelling in the lungs, and a terrible death could have happened because choking to death.
The one that bloats you?
Yeah. In English, they translate it as dropsy. I don't know how to pronounce it. Dropsy. You ever heard of that?
It usually happens in cows nowadays. What they used to do is they used to take a spork and immediately poke it with the cow, so the cow wouldn't instantly die or explode. But what they do nowadays is they have like a special thingy that they put a tube in, like a vein, and then it just goes out.
So I don't know if that's the same thing we're talking about. Where's Charlie? We need him. Dropsy. It's an older term for edema, swelling of the soft tissues of fluid, either in humans or fish.
Or just fish.
Okay. Anyways, I actually saw some commentaries that say it's a type of asthma. Asthma is difficult breathing.
Could be that there's liquid in the lungs.
Right. Is dropsy and asthma the same? No, they could be related. Asthma is a lung disease, narrowed airways, and dropsy is a fluid, swelling in the body's tissues. Okay. Anyways, so this comes from lashon hara, mida k'neged mida. When you use your tongue to speak bad about other people, you're breathing your mouth, then you can get punished. The rabbis have learned askar b'la'ilam ala meiser. Askar comes because some people are not careful with meiser, and Lezer B'Esi says because lashon hara. If it's according to the one that says that it has to do with meiser, what's the connection between not giving meiser and not giving the 10% and the swelling of the lungs? And the explanation given is not that you didn't give meiser. We're talking about someone that eats food that meiser wasn't given from it, and the eating happens with the teeth in the mouth. You chew and you swallow, so that's where the punishment is going to affect. But Lezer B'Esi says, like we just learned before, it comes on lashon hara. Amarava Maikara, some people say Rishum Levi says, where do we see this from? It says in the verse, V'amelach yismach v'lekim, the king will be happy with Hashem, and you will praise with him anyone that swears in him. Ki sacher pi dev shaker, but those that speak dev shaker, those that speak lies, will get punished. So yisacher has the same word as askara. This punishment that we're talking about, the swelling of the lungs, is mentioned in this verse regarding speaking lies or not true things or inappropriate things. They asked, is this they asked a question. Rabbi Lezer B'Esi says that we're referring to lashon hara. Is it adding in addition to the meiser, or is he saying just meiser? So in order to answer this question, we bring down a brisa. The rabbis have learned. When the rabbis went into in Yavne, we spoke about this once before. Yavne was a place where they studied the Torah after Churban, and after the destruction of the temple. From time to time, they had to disperse. The Romans would come, and they had to disperse everyone back home. And then they would make secret messages, and after a few years, they would all gather together and discuss a few things. So one of these times that they gathered together in Yavne, so Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Lezer B'Esi, Rabbi Shimon, they were all there. And they asked this question. And they asked, why is this punishment of Askara, this sickness of Askara, why does it start in the intestines and go up to the mouth? So each one answered. Rabbi Eloi, the son of Eloi, which was the head of all the speakers in all places. He was like a chief talker, which means chief means he spoke first always, because he came from the Romans appointed him, gave him power because he was from the tribe.
I thought it was vice versa. The smallest guy usually talked first.
No, the Romans gave him power because he had his family was from King David, so he had a special lineage. So he was told that he has to speak first. So he says, even though the kidneys and the heart understand and give advice, and the tongue prepares what words the person's going to say, the mouth, peh, goimer, the mouth is the one that has the final say in everything. So the heart and everyone, you can be very intellectual and think about the mouth is the one that finishes. So it starts in the intestines and it goes up to the mouth. Bryski says because people eat impure things. Umar says impure things. What's so bad about eating impure things? Rather, it means food that's not prepared, which we said before refers to meiser. He ate food that meiser wasn't given. And Rabbi Shimon says with the sin of bittul Torah. Bittul Torah is what causes this sickness. The Gemara says bittul Torah. And Torah is learned with the mouth. That's why it affects the mouth. So the Gemara says, what about women? Women, they sometimes get this punishment. They don't have an obligation of bittul Torah, so it can't be. So we said, oh, they disturbed their husbands from learning. So the Gemara says, what about goyim? What about goyim? The Gemara says, goyim, they stopped the Jews from learning.
Yeah, they stopped.
How about children? Children?
Stop the parents.
Children, they stop their parents from learning. How about children that actually learn? How do you have, what do you say about them? Why would they get punished? They're not doing anything wrong. The Gemara says, oh, like Rabbi Gurion. Rabbi Gurion says, some people said, Rabbi Yosef said it. Sometimes a nation is very bad. Hashem will punish the tzaddikim of the generation because of the sins of the bad people. What happens if there's no tzaddikim, no righteous people in that time? Hashem punishes the children for that.
Why not just punish the people?
But wait, didn't we?
And we bring a verse that shows us that Hashem like punishes the sheep. So we see from all this, we see that both of them, lashon hara and eating food that Meister wasn't given, bring the sickness of Askara. What is the Maral explains? What is this business of punishing tzaddikim and punishing children?
Why is this never mentioned in the generation of Noah?
That the children?
No, about the whole, being punished and all that.
I don't know. I think the Maral explains that the Jewish nation is like one big unit. Tzaddikim are like the head, and sometimes when you have to cure one part of the body, you got to deal with the head, and so tzaddikim passing away for the wicked people's things is kind of justified when you look at it as one big unit, and the same thing's also with the children. Obviously, it's very painful and it's very sad, and we don't want anyone to pass away.
Nothing's justifiable.
It's not just explainable. Hashem, we can't understand Hashem.
The Rebbe would many times say you don't.
No. You're right. Take that back. You're right. Not justifiable. A little bit understandable or explainable, a little bit graspable, is by saying you could just say, "Oh, we don't understand Hashem's ways." Too bad. But sometimes you can find an explanation. So he's giving an explanation. Jewish people are one big unit, and we're all responsible for each other. Okay, we're gonna stop over here. I just want to end off with a story. It could be the Gemara is going to discuss the story later. I didn't yet prepare all the way ahead, but I'm going to say the story because it's connected to what we said before. That the mouth is goimer. The mouth ends off has the final say. So the story goes as follows. I need to put more papers here.
Would have been nice to have this at the beginning.
You don't have it?
Up to 132, 33.
We'll speak up in the beginning.
Yeah, you were talking. No, I have this. Yeah, I have this. I have one for 133.
I have to print the next ones.
Yeah, see. This is see, this is where you started from. Right here.
Oh, okay. So you have to
So you started page 133.
That's I gotta do 134 more. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you the story. Meanwhile, I'll print out the papers. The story goes as follows: there was once a king, a famous story, could be heard of it before. There was once a king that it was sick, and the doctor said the only way he's gonna be able to get better is if he drinks milk from a lioness. You know the story? A lioness is milk. That's the only way. The only way he's gonna get sick, he's gonna get healthy.
Is it a mayor?
No, king.
Okay.
King.
Jewish?
What?
Jewish?
No.
Okay.
Doesn't say he was Jewish king. So they were all looking who's gonna get it. Nobody was able to get this milk. They found some Jew, and they maybe I don't know if they forced him. He said he'll do it for a lot of big reward. So he said he needs from the king a couple of baby goats. So they gave him a couple of baby goats, and he started this whole plan. He came day one, brought the goat. He came as close as he felt safe enough, and he dropped the goat off, and the lioness was there, jumped, attacked the goat, and he left. Next day, he was able to bring the next goat a little bit closer. The lioness was looking at him. He was remembered from the day before that he brought him a goat, so he felt a little safer to walk a little closer. The next day, went even next a little closer. Finally, he was able to bring the goat all the way up to the lioness, and the lioness didn't attack him because he was bringing him everyday food. And then he was able to get even close enough to get milk from the lioness. Now the king, so now he's all excited. He finished, but the night before he's about to bring it to the king, he has a dream, and in the dream, different parts of his body are arguing who deserves credit. Okay, so the heart says, "I gave you the idea, my idea." The feet say, "I'm the one that went all the way to there." The second, the hands say, "I'm the one that got it," and the eyes say, "I'm the one that showed you how to go. Without me, you wouldn't know how to go." And the mouth says, "I get the credit." So all the parts of the body start laughing at the mouth, and they say, "You, what did you do? Like, where you're not? What did you? What did,
About the goats.
What did you do over here?" And he's like, "No, I'm telling you, I'm the main guy over here." And they were all laughing at him. And he said, "You know what? You'll see. I'm going to prove to you that I'm the main one." So, sure enough, comes the next day, and they go to the king to present the milk. And he comes to the king and he says, Your Majesty, I'm proud to present for you milk of a dog. And the king says, "Milk from a dog? You're making a joke out of me?" The whole thing was that you're going to get milk from a lioness. Hang him. King of fierce. Send him to be hanged. On the way to the gallows, all the parts of the body start telling the mouth, "Okay, you win. You're right. You proved your point. Now you got us in trouble. We're all gonna die. So you're smart, Alec. You proved your point, and now we're all gonna die. What do you gain?" So the guy says, "Okay." So the mouth says, "Okay, you know what? I'll rectify the situation." Right before they're about to kill him, he says, "I got to tell something to the king, very important." You go back to the king. He says, Your Majesty, it's actually milk from a lioness. I just made a little mistake. In Hebrew, in Aramaic, kalba is a dog, and kalibia is a lioness. So the words are very similar. I made a little mistake. I meant to say lioness, a lioness. The king drank the milk and was cured. End the story. So we see from the story the power of the mouth. So after speaking about a class about not speaking foul language and being appropriate and speaking clean, so we have to remember that our mouth is very possible. One more thing, it says in Shulchan Aruch, "Bris krusa lasvasayim." Hashem gave the lips power, lips of a Jew. lips of a Jew have power to be able to accomplish great things. We could bless each other and give each other blessings. And God forbid, it also works the other way around. I don't want to talk in the negative, but it works both ways. So thank you for listening and joining us. See you, Mirza Hashem, next week.